Ntsako Mhlanga has been announced as the School Aid Ambassador for South Africa. The NGO is a UK and South Africa-based charity that distributes educational and extracurricular resources to developing countries. Now, here at home, it works with township schools to identify priority needs. On Wednesday, the organization unveiled a new library for Isipho Primary School in Soweto. Children's rights advocate and education activist Ntsako Mhlanga joins us in studio to talk about the work that NGOs like hers do in communities and, of course, the challenges that they face. Now, I mean, all the NGO sector broadly has been complaining that in recent years, especially, it's really been difficult to source, funding, but also resources to help them do the work that they have to do. What has been your NGO's experience?
I think we made the right decision by partnering with the right institutions. For example, on Wednesday, we partnered with StanLib to make that project a success. And you know that StanLib is a financial institution. And their CSI project for education this year is to improve maths and English literacy in schools. So already there's a synergy happening between the two organizations. So we felt that, it's very important if we're going to run this education race together, we have to do it with the right people. And StanLib just happened to be the right people to partner with, especially with Wednesday's project, because they're almost building their future employees, their future managers, executives, CFOs there, by making sure that the learners already read for understanding and have a beautiful library and educational resources at their school.
But how easy or difficult was it to actually, maybe the question is, how many doors did you have to knock on before StanLib opened theirs?
Well, since we've been 10 years of existence, I mean, there are a couple of doors that we had to knock onto, and some of them shut in our face, others did open. But I think eventually one door had to open because of the values that we both share. So I think it's important that you do end up actually knocking on the right doors and seeing what companies are about and what they're trying to do with their CSI budgets and with their CSI projects. So it's important that we also do the research there and find out what they're actually doing so we can find the common ground and work together.
Do you only focus on like maths and science projects, or are you involved in the broader sort of education space? I mean, there's lots and lots of problems there, ranging from infrastructure, for schools, I mean, teacher training program and so on. Where exactly do you operate?
So what School Aid does is we distribute educational resources to schools. So like we know, in South Africa, there are about 97% of the public schools do not have functioning libraries in their schools, which is quite alarming. So where we come in is to distribute those books, is to refurbish those libraries, because there are some libraries maybe in schools that are not currently working. So that's where we focus on. It's not really the maths and science, but obviously maths and science is involved. But it's more about distributing the educational resources that learners need and that the schools need to get to where they want to be academically.
Is there an appreciation from the Department of Education, of these sorts of initiatives?
There is, and we are in talks with them to actually just formulate a good partnership. But working with them is quite fantastic because ultimately we do need access to actually be in those schools. So we do have to have a great relationship with the department. But, hearing their priorities from the budget speech saying that they really want learners by the age of 10 to read with understanding, we're taking that and we're making it our race. We are running with that with them because ultimately it's everyone's responsibility to make sure that education, and we reach quality education in our lifetime. So the relationship, we have an amazing relationship with the department, and we're really in talks to carry on the campaigns that they're running. Like there's the Drop All and Read, there's hashtag Reading Revolution, there's Read to Lead, Readers Are Leaders. So the campaigns are there. It's just a matter of passing on the baton and making sure that we are also carrying on with those goals.
But how do you, I mean, do you speak to other people who are in the same space as you? I'm talking now about fellow NGOs and the like, to sort of pull together, because I mean, often you have your Section 27s, for example, who have to take the minister to court, for certain things to happen.
We have to. Education is very collaborative. You have to work with other people in order to achieve the ultimate goal, which is quality education. And in order for us to do that, we can't really do it alone. Hence the partnerships that we have, and we're going to be partnering with more people to hand over libraries. As you know, Literacy Month is also coming up in September, so we are preparing for that. But in talks with other NGOs, absolutely, because, it's not a competition, especially in this space. As much as people see it as, in business, we have to be competitive. No, it's not. I think it's more about us achieving that goal more than us focusing on that competitive part of business. And that's why it's important to partner with other NGOs. So absolutely, the conversations are there.
To those that really, there are lots of South Africans that really mean well, that sort of want to do the sort of things that some of you seem or are succeeding in doing, but they just battle. One gets inundated by people who say, hey, can you help here? We're trying to do this for this group of kids in this area. What are the sort of things that perhaps some people may just miss, with all the good intentions that they have?
Because there's this perception that there must be an incentive whenever you're doing something for someone. When you are volunteering your work, there's an expectation of an incentive. And I think, I can't really blame too many people about that because, jobs, it's really hard to get them in South Africa. But I think it's also just that thing of we no longer do things just for the good of doing them. We sort of do them because we want something back. And I really, really hope in the next coming, let's say 12 years, the class of 2031 and 2032, we have a group of young people who just want to do good because of how rewarding the feeling is. I mean, if I can describe my experience of seeing those young people so excited and those learners so excited at Isipho Primary School, that for me sustained me and it helped me understand why I do what I do. And that's the thing that I'm trying to get to young people. It's that, sometimes just do things because it's the right thing to do. And that's important. But
I agree that there are people who get involved because they expect something in return. But there are people who are very, very genuine, but who may not have, that little thing that sort of makes the person you are approaching actually want to get involved. Your tips to such people?
Just stay woke. Just think about the goal, because this can affect you. This can help you in the long run. You don't know how, but you don't have to know how as yet. Just trust that, it will ultimately come back to you in good deeds. There's no good deed that is unrewarded. Not one. Trust that. But those people, I think it's also just relook at your life and what you're actually using your time on, because that's also very important. I think it's the time part that I'm really worried about. If we're not doing good deeds in our time, then what are we doing? And then maybe that will sort of gear us in the right direction.
Well, Ntsako, thank you very much for coming through. May you and lots of other South Africans who are doing what you are doing indeed to continue and really not give up. She is a children's rights advocate and education activist.